Now we're thinking that these two guys could still be first round picks for sure. It could be that one or maybe two of them sneak into like the top half of the first round, like the top 15. It's possible, just depending on how the teams approach this quarterback situation or quarterback carousel. But we got Sam Howell out of North Carolina for him. He threw 3,000 yards, 24 pass touchdowns. He had 9 interceptions. He did rush though. Both of these guys are dual threat, meaning they can run the ball as almost good as they can pass in some cases, or for Malik probably. Rush for 822 yards, 11 rush touchdowns. That was for Sam. And then we have Malik Willis out of Liberty. So he passed for only 2,800 yards, 27 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. So he kind of racked up the picks, but he did gain 878 yards on the ground. He actually had 200-yard games, 13 rush touchdowns. So, I mean, these guys definitely can put it in the end zone, but I'm a little bit skeptical on their passing ability, both of them, actually.
Yeah, so I would say I'm more concerned about one guy's passing ability than the other.
Definitely
Sam
Malik.
Howell, let's go over Sam Howell first. He's the one he's a little bit better in the passing game, right? He's actually probably, in terms of deep ball passers, probably one of the better ones in this class, just because he has a really strong arm and he's got this natural deep ball accuracy, right? In terms of like the prototype, right? Kind of tough to say. He's not a pocket passer like a statue. At the same time, he's not like an uber playmaker, right? But he is mobile. So I'm gonna call him like a mobile pocket passer. Like he's a pass first guy for sure, but he definitely has some speed to him. He can definitely get some rushing yards. He's not like Matt Ryan or like Tom Brady or Mac Jones or something like that. I think he's very similar to Baker Mayfield, right? Passer,
I thought the same thing.
has some rushing ability, same size, kind of similar look as well. And then, like you said,
Baker had it in college. He doesn't have rushing ability in the NFL. It did not translate.
That's true. Yeah,
He gets chased down from behind all the time.
We saw that his first game.
Well,
he saw that his first.
He can move around, right? That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. He's not slow. He's mobile. He doesn't get a lot of rushing yards, but yeah, he can
kind of the same thing for Sam Howell, I think.
I would say Tony Romo can move around better than Baker, and Tony Romo's was never a great rusher, but he scrambled really well.
Different. Yeah, that's the thing. They moved a little.
He avoided the rush.
I guess he did avoid the rush.
Yeah, spin moves and ran away, and
20 yards backwards, and then he'd throw it down the field for a completion.
See, Baker, his really didn't translate, and then that was Johnny Manziel as well, another Browns quarterback who just totally relied on just flinging it. He could close his eyes, get 5 touchdowns. He didn't need anything, and that really didn't translate in the NFL. And he could get absolutely crushed. Some small dude running around, not quite as fast as you were in college compared to the other players, and that didn't translate. So you're saying Sam Howell, even though he's got good rushing stats, you're saying it's probably not going to translate into getting those same rushing stats in the NFL.
Yeah, I think his rushing skills are more of like a real life football type of thing, where it's like, okay, he's mobile, he's not a statue, he can kind of, he's a little fluid in the pocket, and he's not going to really like 50 yards rushing in a game. I don't think so. I don't really see that happening for you in fantasy. But again, the point is he's not a statue Matt Ryan type.
Tom Brady.
Oh, my favorite statue is always Phillip Rivers. He doesn't move at all.
Oh, my God. Hall of Famer, though.
Kale's got a good
comp. Nope, it's not. We debunked that here on the Fantasy Couch. Yeah.
Really? Okay.
We've debunked that. Don't worry. I got a lot of people yelling at me, and no one's yelling at me anymore. No one thinks he's a Hall of Famer anymore. He's not.
So
the only reason Rivers would be Hall of Famer is the position he played. There's so many way better football players out.
That's
true. The one that Frank Gore is a Hall of Famer. That's easy. He's a Hall of Famer. So it's we got people like that. They're way better. I'd much rather have Julian Edelman in the Hall of Fame
And Phillip Rivers, I would
than
agree.
Phillip Rivers. Julian Edelman made huge, he's got some of the best catches ever in the history of football. What does Phillip Rivers have? Some of the biggest chokes in fantasy football, some of the biggest yelling I said fantasy in the NFL, in the history of the NFL.
Most kids.
Most kids, yeah, I know.
The most trash talking without swearing.
Yeah, like what? Yeah, I mean that's what we know Phillip Rivers for. Let's be honest, right? That's his
true,
story,
yeah.
and it's like I feel like that doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. He was a really good quarterback for a while, and he's expired. And Phillip Rivers, to me, he stands for what the NFL used to be. Now everyone's like Sam Howell. Now everyone's mobile. Like there was a time where Phillip Rivers, it was a different era. Phillip Rivers, Adrian Peterson, that was a different era. Now we're no longer in that era anymore. One of the good running backs we just saw last week was Jerick McKinnon.
That's true.
And he's catching balls. He's a big player. He
finally flashed that potential.
He crushed that team, dude. He crushed the Steelers.
Oh, yeah.
He looked good.
He looked great. And
finally, about time.
That's what this is, right? Adrian Peterson turns into more of like a Jerick McKinnon or Austin Eckler. Like these are the new types of running backs. And Phillip Rivers, it's once Tom Brady retires and Matt Ryan and all them, like there's going to be like 0 statues in the league. That's true.
It's all going to be dual threat quarterbacks.
Or we got a statue coming up.
Or at least mobile, like it's like a Tony Romo or someone who could run around a little bit. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, speaking of a dual threat quarterback, there's probably no other true rushing threat than Malik Willis.
Definitely.
I mean, he's probably known for his rushing more than his passing, I would say. Right? Comparison. Tough to say. He's not Lamar Jackson because he's a little bigger. I would say the size kind of reminds me of Josh Allen because he is a little bigger, thicker built. His arm, probably Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts type of arm because he's not exactly the most refined. I mean, there's definitely something there. Like Jalen Hurts doesn't have a bad arm. There's something to build around, but it's not a great arm. And then running ability, maybe Taysom Hill, because Taysom Hill is kind of like that physical runner. Like
that's a good comp.
Like a running back type of runner. So I think if you put all 3 of those guys into one, that's what you're getting with Malik Willis. Again, the passing inconsistencies and the issues with turnovers is a thing. This guy, again, he went to Liberty, so the competition he's playing, not too good. He threw 3 interceptions in multiple games.
He did start at Auburn, so he had that Auburn pedigree, so to speak, to get into college football. But you're right. He transferred to Liberty, and that's where he is going to
play the bulk of his
sorry,
games.
but Josh Allen is 6'5", 237.
I feel you, but like
I think he's much bigger. I mean, why can't you just say he's like Jalen Hurts? Period.
Because he's
physical running style.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Jalen Hurts
physical dominance is not the same.
Yeah, you got to see some of his tapes. He's got physical, like he'll run it over DBs kind of thing. I've seen him take on linebackers.
Sounds like Trey Lance.
Yeah, maybe Trey Lance.
A little bit.
But he's not as smart as Trey Lance. I would say that. And the passing is not the same as Trey Lance. Same arm strength is not
close.
Trey Lance is a way stronger arm. Way stronger.
I got you.
But that's basically Malik Willis.
Not necessarily this exact size of Josh Allen, but you're saying he plays big.
He plays big. Yeah. Absolutely. Now, where are you going to take him in your rookie draft, right? Kind of depends, I think, on the landing spot, right? I really like the Steelers and the Saints. If he goes on the Steelers or the Saints, I maybe would be tempted to put him as QB1 just because I think that would be a great fit. Sean Payton is really, I mean, he would probably know how to use Malik Willis properly. Malik Willis in a black and gold Steeler uniform, I mean, that would just look amazing, I think.
I think you're right.
Those are the 2 landing spots I'd really like. If he goes to Denver or something, I don't know, because Denver, you kind of want someone who can pass it, right?
Stretch the field.
Steelers, again, running the ball there. Najee Harris and him. go to the Saints. You got Alvin Kamara and Malik Willis. I mean, those are some good, those are some sexy pairings, I think.
Yeah,
So
I
if
agree.
those were to happen, same kind of thing, right? Top 6-ish pick. Let's say he goes to a team like Washington, maybe, or something like not as ideal. One quarterback league, definitely round 2, I would think, as most of these quarterbacks would be. Maybe then if he's going to like a Washington thing, maybe like an early round 2 super flex pick, late round 1, something like that. Depends on how badly you need a quarterback and how many quarterbacks have been taken off the board. But again, kind of high variance for Malik Willis based on landing spot, I would say.
Yeah, and that sums up the top 4 guys we have so far. We're going to actually move on to the last 2. And so these 2 guys, it is possible that they sneak into the back half of, say, the NFL first round, but we're thinking they're more day 2 picks at the, in the second round, that is. So we have Desmond Ritter out of Cincinnati. I know Amar's still here. He's not really a big Desmond Ritter fan, but he's 6'4", so he's more that Josh Allen type frame. 215 though, very, very much a thin beanpole for 6'4".
Yeah, Josh Allen height, and that's about
Yeah,
it.
that's it.
That's where it ends.
3,300 yards passing this year, 30 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. He did lead them to the college football playoff, which is another thing I didn't add in here, but something
Undefeated
to
season, right?
note. Well, they lost that last game.
Well, yeah, right.
Before that.
Before that.
And then threw for 300 yards in 2 games, had 3 pass TDs in 5 games. And then Carson Strong. This is a name that most people probably haven't heard of unless you listened to us, a month or 2 ago. But he's out of Nevada. He's 6'4", 215. Very similar, these guys. Completed 70% of his passes, though. He had 4,100 yards. And then he also had 36 pass touchdowns. He did play lesser competition, but he had 9 games with 300 yards passing. And then 2 of those games, he had 400 yards passing. So, I mean, this guy can definitely throw it down the field, but we're looking at Carson Strong being more of the statuesque quarterback. Desmond Ritter has that more playmaking ability, I would say. But there still is some question marks around both guys.
Oh, dude, I'm not drafting any statues in fantasy.
No? Not even like a Mac Jones guy?
Yeah, with Mac Jones, I like him because this is before the season, right? We're talking about before we seen him play an NFL game. I only liked him because of the price tag, to be honest, because a lot of people did hate him. Sure. And you can get him so cheap, and that's why I liked him. But if I just had to choose, I would just say, look, I'm not drafting any statues because why would I? Because it's all about rushing stats. And even in a 6-point touchdown league where you get 6 fantasy points for a passing touchdown, rushing stats are still big for quarterbacks. They give you a nice floor. You saw Jalen Hurts didn't play that well this year a lot of times. And even when Jalen Hurts was absolute trash, he put up 20 fantasy points.
That's true. Fantasy football is definitely a different beast than
reality. We're a fantasy football channel.
Yeah.
We're a fantasy football brand. So that's always going to be our main focus. We'll talk about regular NFL a lot, in real life NFL, as the youngsters call it, IRL. Sure.
Right.
But we're always going to have always fantasy football is going to be our focus. And, Konami code, which is a played out concept because everyone has it now, it seems like. And it's like, I would rather have someone with the Konami code who can get me 11 rush yards per game. That's 1.1 bonus points per game and has the ability to scramble when things are bad. I mean, I like it. There's also worries that you could be like Jalen Hurts or Lamar when he's going through struggles and be like, oh my God, there's ways to like freeze this guy, like the blue screen of death on a window. Like there's ways that you can throw something at them and they just freeze up and can't get anything done. And so that is a worry too, but I'd rather have a guy who can rush and get out of situations than not. I think it's becoming a standard baseline skill in the NFL.
Well,
I'm gonna
that's
let
true. With that being
Go ahead.
said, I think Carson Strong, then for you, Brain, should just be off your list completely because the single most glaring, largest red flag on his resume is the fact that he has zero rushing upside.
But what's
He's
his
gonna bring
price tag is the thing.
Price
Like, I
tag is
feel like
probably going to be super flex round 2, I would say, because again,
round 2 probably.
there's going to be 4 quarterbacks taken ahead of him because
that
they
means
have
he
that
can fall
season.
to round 3.
He could fall
It
to
is
round 3.
possible.
Possible, yeah.
One quarterback, I think he can definitely fall to round 3. In a
No.
super flex, I
One
don't
quarterback.
think he will.
No. He's falling away. You don't play one
Probably
quarterback.
even
but
like
I can tell by the way you're talking right now. You don't play one quarterback.
He has
league.
one.
I have one quarterback league. He's not
CFL.
even drafted.
He's fallen way farther than
Way
he's
further
like
than that.
yeah. Some jerk's gonna take him take him late. Yeah, no one because when you're gonna you don't want to start this guy. In a 1 QB league, it's like some of these 1 QB dynasty leagues you can pick up a quarterback off waivers. Not often, like it's not regular, but you can sometimes find a quarterback off waivers. Like in a super flex league, you can't even get PJ Walker off waivers.
I just
I
picked
feel
up
you on
Dwayne
that.
Haskins and Mason Rudolph in the captain's league. I think they were sleeping. Although I don't think either one are going to be anything.
Hey, well, you never know. Good ads.
You
for
just
now.
never know.
I mean,
Good ads for now. At
I
least.
think it's because it's a $10 league. Is that
No,
$10?
it's a 40. It's 40.
Oh,
it's the
a
captain's
real
league.
It's a real league, and you got. Yeah, you shouldn't be. Yeah, you shouldn't have been able to. Is that super flex?
Yeah, it's a super flex league. I'm telling you, I don't know how I picked him up.
That's pretty ridiculous to me.
That's not bad, dude.
It's
bad at all.
No, it's ridiculous because right now, if I go to my 1 QB league, I'm pretty sure Mason Rudolph got picked up like a month ago in a 1 QB league. So yeah, that's pretty. But anyway, Carson Strong, he's gonna he'll get drafted way later. Like he'll be like round 4 probably in a
okay for sure.
Because you want to draft that depth at running back because running backs go down and people like wide receivers and then there's the tight ends because people don't like reaching for tight ends if it's not tight end premium. So there's just so many other directions people would go. I think he'd fall.
Yeah, I could definitely see him fall to round 3 in Superflex maybe, and we can talk over the order in the first 2 rounds more in detail. I think once you do that hack your rebuild thing, it's coming up.
You want to tease that?
Sure, we can. Why not?
Well, we have some questions too. So if anybody
I wanted to bring this one up.
Anyone has any questions, now's the time to ask. Sure. We want to answer every single question.
We will answer Dak's question here in a moment.
We have time. So any dynasty or literally any football question or any question, it's called Ask Me Anything. Any question you guys have, we want to answer before we end this podcast.
I want Sushane to address this real quick, if you don't mind, Brain. So Kale says Carson Strong is the Davis Mills of this draft. Kind of meh. What do we say to that?
I kind of like it. So Davis Mills went to Stanford, right? He's a Stanford guy. So
Stanford guy, second round pick. Very similar in that sense. We're thinking.
Yeah, very, very similar. I like this comparison a lot, actually, because both of them are more of the mental type of quarterback. In addition to no rushing upside, right? Let's go beyond that. High IQ players. Davis Mills, I know at least in college, was one of those guys who did the pre-snap kind of reads and everything. Carson Strong does the same type of stuff with that. Just good, good mechanics overall. Good pocket passers, right? So I kind of like what he's saying with Davis Mills because also we know Davis Mills' upside was definitely capped. Everyone knew that. He's not going to be a star in the NFL, but maybe he could be a serviceable starter, but not a star. So I kind of like it. Carson Strong could be a serviceable starter. Is he going to be a stud in the NFL? Doubt it, especially for fantasy football with no rushing upside. Probably not. So I like this one. Carson Strong is the Davis Mills of this draft. Kind of meh. I think Kale Nelson hit it on the head.
So what do we think about possible landing spots for these two guys? You got Desmond Ritter and you got Carson Strong. What teams do you think would match well with these two guys?
Well, first of all, are these guys falling to round 3?
We're saying round 2 in the NFL
I think round
draft.
2. Round 2 would be the spot where I think I would put some money on all right, my bet is round 2 for these guys, I think.
So you think all 6 of these guys are going to go in the first 2 rounds?
Yep, I would say so. Looks like
just because quarterbacks so
just because quarterbacks are quarterbacks.
important.
They're not. I don't think they're deserving necessarily, but I mean that's just the NFL.
They need to just start putting head coaches in these drafts now because they're getting fired so much.
Yeah, for real, man.
I mean, they gotta, this was so abnormal. I don't even remember when this started, but I'm pretty sure there wasn't that many head coaching vacancies back when I was a kid. I'm pretty sure.
I know for the last 5, 6, 7 years at least, there's always been about 7 to 8 vacancies,
it's crazy.
give or less. You know.
Well, we're used to coaches like Don Shula and Bill
that's
Walsh
also
and
stability.
Seifert,
Real
like stability for
I feel
years.
you,
You
yeah.
know,
But even wasn't Landry was that Cowboys?
he was a
Landry,
Cowboys coach
Cowboys,
for a
yeah.
long time.
Yeah, even they're just. I mean, like
They were fixtures.
but he got fired eventually. But it took a while. I mean, it's just was.
Who took over?
different.
Jimmy Johnson, was it?
Jimmy
Or
Johnson
Yeah,
was. Yep.
yeah.
Jimmy
And
Johnson
at the
took
dinner,
over.
they have that famous picture of that incident, that dinner.
Otherwise,
Niners,
the Niners would have like 49 Super Bowls if not for that hire.
Maybe.
Cowboys
Cowboys,
killed.
yeah,
That was the ultimate
the best
rivalry.
at that point.
That's why I was looking so forward to this game. I was like, hey, it's kind of old school right now, right? We got Jerry Jones, Cowboys. Was Troy Aikman commentating?
No,
No,
he
gonna
wanted
commentate.
to.
Oh, okay.
He said actually in the game before
Tony
he was
Romo was commentating.
Tony Romo.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Tony
I
Romo.
loved hearing Tony Romo on that last Dak drive. It's hilarious. This is so
Last
funny.
Dak
But
drive.
yeah, it's old school, man. Niners, Cowboys, one more time. I was like, man, this is the old school rivalry right here. People don't know about that. They don't know.
Did you hear
who was that
Kittle's
tight
press
end?
conference?
Clark with the that catch, right?
Dwight Clark with the
The
catch.
Niners.
Yeah, Dwight Clark. That's
Brent
his name.
Jones played a big part in that rivalry in the 90s.
Oh yeah, man.
But yeah,
that was
Kittle
a-
actually said after the game, he said that the Niner players, since a lot of them are young, right, that Kyle Shanahan wanted to introduce them to Niner history. And so that George said he feels like they stand on the shoulders of legends. And I'm sure Cowboys players could say
nice.
the same thing because they represent an organization, a franchise with so many great players, and that rivalry renewed, so to speak, in that game, really gave him a sense of pride for being on the 49ers in that sense.
Well, a lot of those guys are still relevant too, so it's not like they're totally like, who's that? Because like when we did the John Madden and Mooch charity events, I mean, you see a lot of these guys. So Mooch is very relevant. He's on NFL Network. Steve Young's on ESPN. Everyone knows who he is. Michael Irving, CeeDee Lamb wears the same jersey number. Tony Romo's commentating. Then right after, you got Troy Aikman commentating. Like, well, Emmitt Smith does Just for Men hair coloring because he can't talk, but
he didn't have any commercials during the game, I don't think.
Nah, he can barely film a commercial. Not everyone has the John Madden swag to do commercials or Troy Aikman swag, but yeah, a lot of these guys are still very relevant, man. And yeah, I was really looking forward to it. And now we got another type of rivalry with the Niners because we stupidly passed up on Aaron Rodgers and drafted Alex Smith. So
yeah, that is
Aaron Rodgers. He wants to beat the Niners. I already know.
Trey Lance, though. Here we go. It's time next year.
What is that? Next
era.
I thought you meant this week. I was like, oh,
this week. No, it's probably we need Jimmy G.
We're talking about this Jimmy G injury conspiracy already, and then I got that brewing. So
yeah, well, Jimmy G is going to be out. So I mean, real quickly, since we're talking about quarterbacks, where does Jimmy Garoppolo go in 2022?
Oh God, you keep scaring me with this Dynasty. I thought you were talking about this week. I'm like, whoa. Jimmy G's gonna be out. I mean, we're playing.
Dynasty here.
There's still we are, but this is a tangent. But I mean, the Niners are playing a big game, really soon here, like in almost a few hours, depending on when you're listening to this podcast. So he kind of scared me. Jimmy G has like 2.5 injuries.
Yeah, he just said Jimmy G's out too. It was like, he meant to say out next season.
Yeah,
next season. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know we got the quarterback slide up here, but all right, we'll get back to Dynasty talk. Let's answer people's questions here.
Well, no, do you want to tell them about some possible landing spots and maybe even a NFL comp to Desmond Ritter? I
Yeah,
think you have a
sure.
good one.
So we can start with Carson Strong. We were talking about him first. So he is a statue, right? So he needs a good offensive line. I know we talked about the Colts being a possible team who may want a quarterback, although Carson Wentz is still definitely serviceable. But hey, I mean, maybe Carson Strong, get a different Carson to Indianapolis, could be in play. You said you liked my comparison to Desmond Ritter, right? So
Yeah.
he's got, again, he's 6'4", so he's a tall guy, 215. He's a slim guy. He's also got really, really long legs, kind of similar to Colin Kaepernick. Long strides, not really fast, but like again, he can just cover a lot of ground when he's running with the football because he's got those long limbs.
He doesn't have the same fastball though.
No,
Colin had a major fastball.
That is true. I think Colin Kaepernick had some accuracy issues though with that fastball, and Desmond Ritter's accuracy might be even worse, honestly.
Oh,
not good.
No, wait, Kaepernick.
I laid you up.
Kaepernick was really good in the beginning, and then his accuracy got
just
extremely
dwindled.
bad. So you're talking about the late Kaepernick
Super Bowl run Cap.
Super Bowl run
people
Kaepernick
in the head on the sidelines.
Right.
That was
then there
so
was
embarrassing.
yeah. So he's got definitely an accuracy issue. It comes with bad, and you know how they always talk about timing, touch, and anticipation. Desmond Ritter has pretty poor anticipation, I would say, on the routes. So he's got to definitely anticipate routes better, throw the ball a little sooner than when he is, and again, get a more accurate ball placement when he's delivering those passes. Aside from that, though, I mean, rushing ability, it's there, like Colin Kaepernick had it. So I think that's going to be Desmond Ritter. For a landing spot, maybe Washington.
Yeah.
What do you think of that? I don't know.
I can see it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I definitely can see it.
You think Detroit would want a quarterback with Jared Goff? And
if they could get him in the second round, because they're not going to spend their number 2 overall pick on.
Definitely, right. But they would be
Ritter.
picking – are they picking 2 in round 2? So that's the 34th overall pick? If they are, then maybe Desmond Ritter – because I'm thinking he could fall in that early round 2, early day 2 range. So maybe the Lions might not be a terrible idea. But aside from that, that's basically the 2022 quarterbacks. There might be other guys like from the FCS who maybe pop up or something like that, but probably not going to get a whole lot of draft hype surrounding them. These 6 guys are basically the ones who are in the running to be selected in your super flex mock drafts.
So the Lions do have their second round pick, by the way. So that's what you had asked earlier.
Yeah.
They could take him with the 34th overall selection.
That could be interesting. Either one of these guys, too. Desmond Ritter or Carson Strong, because I know
what about Atlanta?
What
about Atlanta at number 43 in the second round?
Yeah, Atlanta, too.
I mean even Houston
Matt Ryan's
could bring in some competition.
Hit, so they're going to keep him, but, developing guy. Houston, you said?
I'm just thinking maybe they bring in some competition.
I mean, you could be right about Houston, but honestly, I just have no freaking idea what they're doing right now. Davis Mills, Deshaun Watson, like it's tough to say what they're even planning. But hey, you could be right. Houston could be a destination for these guys.
What about the Browns? They got their 44th overall selection. Does that maybe signal change of regime there?
Sucks. They need to do something about that.
That could be a sneaky pick.
They have to decide this offseason on him, right? On Baker?
Well, they're looking to keep him.
I think they did agree to his 5th-year option. So they have to agree to the extension.
Pick that up?
I believe so. Let me check.
5th year was picked up. I know that.
But they're gonna keep him, I think. But when we talk about Odell Beckham, like we always look at the memes. It's always funny, but it's very serious when you see, right, was it 7 touchdowns or something with the Rams and like whatever wide receiver touchdowns total for the Browns. Like it's pretty ridiculous. So like 6 total touchdowns in a Browns uniform and 7 in a Rams uniform. And it's like, it's pretty obvious. I think everyone sees this. I've talked to nobody that's like Baker is still good. Like everyone knows like he sucks. He missed Odell. Odell, like it's just funny how the world we live in right now. It's very serious. Like Odell Beckham's dad's mixtape. Or he just
we're calling it.
We're calling it a mixtape now.
Yeah, he just hit screen record on some other YouTuber, like to be quite frank. But he posted it. I mean, it was there. Like you can't argue with the film.
There.
He was not hitting Odell. Odell was wide open. It was ridiculous. And Baker's not it. Like I think you got a great coach and a great team. And if you had a great quarterback, that's Super Bowl to me. We see even a great quarterback helps fix the defense, right? When Patrick, it's no coincidence. Now, it was a lot more to it, don't get me wrong. Once Patrick Mahomes stopped throwing picks this year, Chiefs defense became really good, night and day. Chiefs defense was, some would say, the worst in the beginning.
It was pretty bad, yeah.
And now they're, at least like bottom 3, right? And sometimes when I looked at DFS and did research, I would consider the Chiefs to be the worst defense. So now the Chiefs defense is good. Like that's how much a good quarterback can change the team. And Baker's not it. I think Baker is horrible, man. I don't even know if Baker's like a top 29 quarterback. Well, his backup his backup better? Is Case Keenum better?
Possible, actually.
Legit question. Yeah, so that's what
that's fair.
So like when I say that, I know some people could laugh. Top 29. Like I mean, Case Keenum is not good, and it's his backup, and he could be better. Like his backup could be better than him, or at least they're the same
close,
same level. Yeah,
close
it's like
enough.
So. Yes, I'm talking about backups could be better than him. Trey Lance and Jimmy G both better than Baker Mayfield.
Mariota's probably better. He's a backup.
There we go. Mariota. I mean, it's a question. I don't know. Yeah, Mariota and Carr, both of them could be better than Baker, right? Carson Wentz better than Baker. Like it's just. Every quarterback in the playoffs this year better than Baker for sure. And sometimes they're
he's the guy who's holding that team back because around Baker Mayfield, offensive line, skill position, guys on defense, it's all the pieces are in place. So hey, if they do choose to pick an upgrade this year, that would be a nice, tasty landing spot for any of these guys we just talked about.
Skill positions was in place. I don't know after they got rid of Odell. Not true. I mean, they still have like. I'm not saying that like their receivers suck, but like they had it. They had it pretty much perfect. You had Odell and Jarvis. That could have been like your Higgins and Chase, basically.
Yeah, and that would have been. Yeah, if it worked, it would have been pretty good.
And you screwed that.
And Peoples Jones is the third. That would have been a decent third.
Yeah, sure. You got offense. 2 tight ends too. I mean, and running scheme, running backs.
2 great running backs.
Yeah,
phenomenal.
Perfect. I mean, even Dearness Johnson was okay. Like,
yeah, he proved to be pretty good when you were on the toilet still.
Oh yeah,
he had already scored his first touchdown. You were still in the bathroom.
Forgot about that story. Yeah,
good times.
Yeah. Don't be in too many fantasy leagues, guys. That's
the moral of the story.
That's the moral.
Yeah. All right, should we get to some questions? I do want to bring up a couple of things.
I like
here.
Baker,
you guys,
Baker's better. Wait, no. I think Goff is Baker than. I think Goff is better.
Okay, so you want to read this one? So Amar says Baker is better than Jimmy G. He also says Baker is better than Goff. Basically, Jared Goff. I was going to say Jeff Goff.
Amar is wrong for sure.
It's not really a question; it's a statement, but.
Baker could be better than Jared Goff. I think he's definitely
the Jimmy G, but the Jimmy G just totally ruins like any take he's got after that. Like
That's
Baker's not better than Jimmy G. Like, I haven't seen
Jimmy G goes to the playoffs.
I haven't seen Baker blow a Super Bowl. Like I didn't catch that game. Jimmy G is good enough to blow a Super Bowl. Like I didn't catch that game where Baker was winning and then he missed a couple throws. I didn't catch that game. I don't know. Show that.
I like it. He's good.
What about this comment from Kale?
He beat Big Ben. Woo! Wow. He beat Big Ben at the end of his career.
What do you guys think about Jimmy G to Carolina? Kale says maybe that's a good fit.
It could happen.
I feel like that's a David Tepper type move. He's impatient, so maybe Sam Darnold is done, and then he wants like a veteran type guy because it looks like, I mean, if he's going to pass on Justin Fields, which he did last year, he probably maybe wants someone with more experience. I don't know. It just seems like a David Tepper type move to me, Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, I mean, it seems kind of silly to me. I mean, you're gonna have to do something with Darnold at that point for sure. You don't want to have like
Yeah,
two
that's
veteran
true.
quarterbacks on the roster. You'd want to have one young guy that you
We're
just drafted
calling-
and one veteran.
we're
Well,
calling
Drew,
Darnold a
dysfunctional teams do
veteran?
dysfunctional things.
I
right?
mean, Darnold's been in the league for what, 3-4 years
Yeah,
now.
but
So I
when you
mean,
play with the Jets, it doesn't count. When you play with
Yeah, I
Adam Gase,
guess.
it
that's
doesn't
fair.
count.
That's fair.
all right, I stand corrected.
Darnold's to me is like a rookie.
You're so mean to Darnold.
No, I'm not. What
I'm
like
just-
what
like a rookie
experience
right now,
does he
yeah.
have?
Well, you said earlier that they should
He
continue to give
proved
him a
that
chance.
He proved that ghost and mono is real through his scientific experimentation.
Ghosts
Like, what
and
is this
mono.
experiment? What experience does he have? Like, I know he's technically a veteran, but Jimmy
think
G
that's a
has
valid point.
experience. The Jimmy G backed up.
Darnold's in his 5th year next season, so he just finished his 4th season.
5th year
For what it's
senior.
worth.
5th year senior.
You're a senior indeed.
I don't know. I
man.
mean, that's
Red
Everything
flag.
circles back around.
how many years with this? 4 years with Gase, is that, or 3 years?
I think it'll be
Gase?
3 years then with Gase and then 1 with Carolina.
Yep. Okay, so
Yeah.
here's another question. This one I believe is a good question from Dak, our resident
Ooh.
Cowboys fan. What guys are you going around 109 in the rookie mock drafts? So
One
is
guy
QB is super
Super
flex.
flex. It's super.
he
flex.
did clarify. He
Superflex?
said
Okay.
super flex. I'm going to say one guy that I think you should take if he's available at 109, and his name is George Pickens.
Love it. Love it.
I would go George Pickens if he's available at 109, maybe even David Bell,
Yep.
depending on how you feel or what the landing spots look like. If someone like, I can't imagine it, but maybe, Kenneth Walker III, but the other guy is Zach Charbonnet. I think I would go with Zach
Charbonnet is actually staying in school. So he's no longer in 2022, which sucks. It just a thin running back class got a little bit thinner, unfortunately.
Thanks for ruining my night.
Ooh, so
We were super high on him, actually. We weren't telling anybody that.
Yeah. I was excited about Charbonnet.
We were liking that.
Other
tape.
names. So you have George Pickens and David Bell. Maybe Jamison Williams,
There you
Alabama
go. That's a good
receiver.
one.
He did get hurt, but doctors say he should be completely ready to go. It's an ACL injury. We don't really worry about those in this day and age anyway. Or Jahan Dotson, the boomer bust guy, big play. Jahan Dotson equals best ball, basically.
no quarterbacks if they fall. You don't see one of the top 2 falling.
I would not. I'm not going to recommend him pick a quarterback or take a quarterback at 109.
And
they might fall to you at 109. I would not take one.
You think they probably won't fall though, because how people reach in Superflex.
They do reach in Superflex.
I think by 109, you can guarantee that one quarterback is going to be off the board. I think there's an above 50% chance that 2 are off the board before the 109. I think that's what you're looking at.
And if
one goes to the Broncos,
and if they are available, you don't recommend taking them.
I would say no. So you're looking at like the QB3, probably not. QB1 or 2, I would still, because so 109 means the top 8 players are going. So that's 3 running backs and that's 5 wide receivers. So you can actually get someone like George Pickens or Jamison Williams or Jahan Dotson, and I would take all 3 of those guys probably before my QB1, even in Superflex. Honestly, I'm just that low on this QB class and that much higher on the wide receivers at that price. So I'm not going to advise him. But hey, if you need a quarterback, because every roster is different, maybe he has the receivers closer to win now. He just needs that quarterback 2, quarterback 3. Then yeah, go ahead, take a chance. 109 is the proper price to do it. It's not like you're paying the 101 because with the 101, you're kind of expecting that you just get a stud fixture on your roster. 109 is like, okay, maybe I get like a decent starting player in my lineup. That's what I would say to that. What do you think?
This is a good comment. This is kind of a good comment because Kale says depends on the situation the top QBs land. I would say this.
Exactly.
If someone like Matt Corral or Kenny Pickett goes to the Broncos, I think he.
All right.
I think what Drew was going to say was,
Yeah,
what Drew was trying to say is if they end up going to Denver or something, he probably would be in the running to be chosen at the 109. And I would agree with that too, because, Denver's got a really good situation going on. We've said it a couple times now. We'll say it one more time. Noah Fant, Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, Javonte Williams. They got playmakers, and they got some pieces on offense. It could work.
They have depth too. Albert O.
Yeah.
Tim
They got some
Patrick.
guys. Tim Patrick, AJ Hamilton. They got some guys.
Like 6 guys who can catch the ball. It's pretty.
Right. In addition to that, though, just to kind of piggyback off his point for Denver, Pittsburgh Steelers and Saints, if one of those two teams gets a quarterback, such as like a Malik Willis, I think, as the like 109 type range, quarterback 2, quarterback 3, I would be really interested in that. I think. There he is. Back.
I don't know if you guys heard I was taken over by cyborgs again. I'm not sure if you guys know that.
We finished the sentence for you. We did.
Good. I was basically saying if the Broncos get one of those 2 top guys, I would probably spend the 109 on them because I feel highly about that situation. Yeah,
I would agree with that too. And I would say, Drew, in addition to the Broncos, don't sleep on the Saints and the Steelers.
Good point. Even the Panthers, possibly.
Panthers, possibly, maybe. I have way more confidence in like a Kenny Pickett Steelers, like a
Me too.
Malik Willis Saints. Like those would be really nice fits.